Hey everybody, this is Dust for Dust on Gaming. A little bit of more burn practice. A couple things going on, but we'll get into that as more people get on to this evening. So, doing some light prep work for a PPTQ here in a couple weekends. Did the Modern Challenge yesterday. Ended up going 5-2 with burn. So, obviously it's the deck that I'm most comfortable in going into kind of serious stakes games here. Fortunately, this is only going to be a short stream, so let's hop into the matches. It's burn. I really don't need to explain the list too terribly much right now. That's a pretty easy mulligan. That's a pretty decent 6-card hand. Don't think we're in the market for a third land here. I think we might be in the burn mirror. This could be interesting. Been a minute since we played the burn mirror. Yep, Rift Bolt, sure. That's Goblin got of their own. It's gonna pass here. Let the Rift Bolt do the Rift Bolt things. Okay, they're going after me, sure. One is Searing Blazing our Goblin Guide, sure. Run out the Eidolon here. Cliff Drop Retreat's an interesting one. Let's see what our opponent does here on end step. List of 3 or 10 here. Obviously, there are some combination of cards that just kill us from here. If our opponent has a Lightning Helix, I should definitely play it right here. What's up, Urban Fox? How you doing? Goblin Guide, sure, it's kind of whatever. Oh, it's just dead here. There's nothing they have here that can gain life for 1 mana, so that's just game. How have you been doing, Fox? Well, that's cool. Yeah, unfortunately, it's probably going to be the last Redux I do for a little while, so cause there's some stuff coming up that, so I want the Skull Cracks and that. These Lavancers can go. Probably want to bring in a couple of Path to Exile just in case they have Firewalker. What other cards are kind of garbage here? Eidolon's on the draw, probably. Got a lot of creature kill, which could be some problems if they board out some of their creatures as well. Path is specifically here. Well, so I was kind of hoping more of our usual viewers would get on, but I have like kind of a couple of decisions I've got to make here in the next coming weeks. So I enjoy playing people's brews and stuff, but to be honest, it's not really. I mean, there's been a couple decks like that have been fun, like your Grixis Delver deck, the War Dogs, like Emrakul list, some of Foz's crazy nonsense, a couple of Space Marines brews, but it's like I've got to decide at this point if I'm just going to be an entertainer or if I'm actually going to try to be an actual factual grinder. So it's kind of, I don't know how to put it. Like, I'm not going to be able to please everyone. I'm either going to have to do what I want to do, or I'm going to have to do, yeah. Alright, so our opponent dealt us some damage here. Just going to hold up Skullcrack and Searing Blaze. This is the really bad part about not having, like, any true. Alright, so problem is if I don't Skullcrack my opponent, then I'm losing out on some damage equity here, which kind of sucks. So I'm going to 10, I'm effectively at 9 here. Hoping my opponent plays a creature here, and doesn't seem they're going to be cooperative. This is one of the dangers of having too many searing effects in your hand. See if I get Lightning Helix in response here. It's kind of funny, I literally haven't seen the Burn Mirror in weeks. Feels like a Helix. If so, then we probably can't win from here. Deflecting Palm. Wow. Okay. That's a thing. It's a card I personally hate in the matchup, but, you know, can't discount it. We are pretty much dead at this point. Like, if they have any reasonable spell draw, we're just dead here over the next turn cycle. Yep. If your burn opponent's double shock or shocking themselves down to 9, that's never a good sign. Just saying. Alright, so it doesn't look like they actually... Have they shown us any fetch lands? So... It's possible the blood should come out. Couple of the skull cracks, get these Eidolons back in. Dude, I haven't been running core Firewalkers in weeks. When you don't see the mirror for weeks on end, or even goblins, especially when you're playing in the competitive leagues, you can't really, like, like, these 2-Path to Exile are just solely a consideration for core Firewalker. Otherwise, I'd have something else in my deck. And it's possible... Alright, I'm going to take the risk. If I die to a core Firewalker, I die to a core Firewalker. This hand is extra medium in the mirror match, so I gotta go to 6. And now we're going to 5 and lose the match. Alright. Well, being on the play is great and all. Doesn't do me any good if I, yeah, I'm not drawing lands. A good percentage of the time, yes. Oh, they do have Eidolon. What a tricky little devil. That was a missequencing on my part. I should have waited till their turn to do that. Because now they're not going to take damage from their own Eidolon when they probably would have to cast spells this turn. A lot more play to burn than people realize. Like, stupid sequencing decisions like that probably cost me my opponent taking at least 2 damage here. Yep, and they do have the Helix when we have our mana down here, so... Get wrecked, opponent? We're the one losing this game. Eidolon's probably literally just blocking. Or we're getting bolted in response. Nope. Mm-hmm. Need follow-up spell and we're pretty much dead. Yep, Eidolon definitely qualifies as a follow-up spell. Alright, that was a fun reminder of why mirror matches can be annoying. I think my opponent was, well, Burn is a deck that capitalizes on stumbling, and We stumbled by having to mulligan, and then stumbled by having to mulligan, and then not drawing our second land when we have a bunch of 2-drops in hand. It happens. I didn't stumble much yesterday, so I can't really complain. So, much less punishing to stumble in these smaller events than to stumble in, 122 player tournament. I like to play first. Yes, I would. 4-lander. So generally speaking, I hate 4-landers. I'm not going to sit here and say most of the time I automatically ship 4-landers, but this is about as good as a 4-lander as you get. So I'm inclined to try to keep this one. It's, generally speaking, I pitched this hand, but because there was one yesterday that I kept during the challenge that had like Swift Spear, Goblin Guide, Lava Spike, and I kept, and it ended up basically smashing our opponent. Well, it didn't smash our opponent. They ended up losing the game, mainly because they were blue-eye control. But the early 2 creatures did them a lot of damage. Oh, Storm, yay. I mean, it's fine if we draw follow-up spells, but the problem is we're drawing lands, and our opponent's on Storm, so... Like, if they play a Boros or Electromancer here, and we can't answer it right away, then... Yeah, which is exactly what they're probably doing. Yep. And if we don't answer this Electromancer right away, we're literally dying next turn. Alright, so that's a thing. We gotta do this thing, which sucks. Then they could still have Baral, and we could turn around and... It's not likely to die from here, but, I mean, they could easily go Idiot Ritual. But the fact they shock this in seems to indicate to me they're missing a land drop. So, if we find, like, Eidolon or another follow-up spell here, we might actually be able to kill them. Instead, we find another land. Yeah, I know. It's just, there's a lot going on right now, and it's kind of hard to be positive. Alright, we're not dying. That's a positive, at least. So even if they remand here, we get to kill them. Are they unsubbing? Wow. That's a dangerous play. Now do you block? You gotta block or you're dead, so I get to bolt your face and still kill your Baral? Seems good for me, right? Put you to 1. You don't have a brawl, and this. Yeah? Do you have the tools to go off? Probably. Nope. Alright. And we draw land. Alright. Yep. And I lose my Swift Spear for no value there, but we had to try, right? Alright. See what you got, opponent. Alright. See what kind of pile they grab here. Yeah, but at the same time, he's not doing anything. It's either, alright, just do the usual. Hope they don't have the ability to go off, but I presume they will. If they have a ritual at all, we're just dead. Yeah, there's the Morphos. Yep, that means we're dead. Alright. Had to hope they didn't have or hit a thing there. These Lavamancers out of our deck, because they're pretty crappy, especially if we're boarding in Rest in Peace. And a couple copies of Path to Exile. Which is both 1 mana interaction and interacts with their combo here. In case they have like Madcap Experiment. Wow. Keep this and hope to scry into a land? Question mark. I guess even if I scry into a land, can I afford not to play it? What's up, Jankovic? How you doing? Ramming up Ruins would be fine, but the problem is Modern is so fast, you generally speaking don't want to go to play a land where your plan is to get to 5 lands. Boros Charm to the bottom. So I think we just fetch Shock, put pressure on the table, and I don't know. I've not tried it in Boros or whatever. I tried it in mono red. It seems fine in a mono red build. To be fair, the main reason I flooded out that game is I kept a hand with 4 lands and then drew 2 more lands. So if I would have done the discipline thing and mulligan that hand, then I probably would have been in a lot better shape. And we don't draw land. Let's go ahead and spike them here. Alright, well, we're going to have to leave up bolt here, so... No, Ramanat Ruins is the one that is... basically 5 to activate. Alright. Force them to remand this here. It's kind of a silly play. They should just unsub their Baral, but whatever. So now we have 2 decision trees here. We could try to punk them out with Eidolon, but they have more answers to him post board, so I'm just gonna go ahead and Searing Blaze this off the board. What's up, Asa? How are you doing? Our opponent scoops. That seems a little premature. No, Ramanop Excavator is the creature that's Crucible Worlds. Ramanop Ruins is the well, this is a hand, especially if we draw a second land. I'm definitely keeping this one. But I must be taking a real serious look at their 6. Put a card on top. Alright. So being on the draw is tremendously annoying in this spot, but does give us at least another look at a land. Because it means we have to hold up mana to interact with them, which is annoying. Well, I mean, this hand's awesome if we hit a second land. I've said that a couple times. But that's just the nature of burn. You either... see if we show them a land here. Nope, sleight of hand. No, it's the red land from Amon Kahet, not creature. Well, thanks. Let's see if our opponent plays a... yep, they have a Baral. Land, please. Alright, so good chance we're dead here. What's up, sideboard? Shows them a land and a sleight of hand. Alright, now Storm gets to do their Storm thing. What's up, Space Marine? How you doing? So they played those sleight of hands we know about. They've played the Spire Bluff Canal that we know about. Oh, decisions here. See what the triggers reveal here. Yeah, that kind of forces my hand here. Manamorphose. Okay. Am I going to get double bolted or something? Nope. Grape shot. Alright, so even if we don't kill them, there's a good chance our board's getting wiped here. Gifts ungiven? Sure. Really need to peel a land deck. So it's pretty clear they don't have a mana dork, so we definitely don't want to give them a mana dork here. If they even go for that. Well, I guess we give them the 2 mana idiots and just hope we peel a land for rest in peace here. Nope. Alright, so mathematical odds we die are pretty high. So what play gives us the best chance to win? Wow, Space Marine, just wow. Alright, so drop them to 6 here. Cast, or suspend Riftbolt. And cast Lava Spike next turn gives us the best chance to win if they don't kill us. So, I guess that's the play. I get a land and a Baral. Drop you to 6. Okay. Oh. Yep, we're dead here. Alright, our opponent's just showing off now. Man, we weren't drawing a land for a while. No, I'm not playing Arena. The graphics are too choppy. Graphics are very choppy on Arena on this computer. Alright, since Space Marine and a few of you are hanging out, got a couple of things here going on to run by you guys. So currently, due to real life situations, I put my subscription to Mana Traders on hold. So right now the only decks I have access to is Burn, which kind of sucks. But so here's what's going on. In a week and a half or so, I will be getting student loan money from grad school, and I have a couple different options I can do here. So I can keep playing a variety of decks. I can, just continue, try to be casual, try to just grow an audience organically. Hope that kind of stuff works out. Don't get me wrong, I'm not opposed to continue playing fun decks. Just to get it on the table. But now I have to decide with school coming up if I want to continue just playing casual, or do I want to try X-Mage is fine, Bourbon Fox, but given my lack of I'll have to look at X-Mage actually, but so I'll have to take a look at X-Mage. That might be another option at the table. So I have like 3 or 4 different choices right now. I can continue paying monthly for Mana Traders, play a variety of decks. I can just continue playing a lot of Burn, which I think everyone's frankly going to get sick of, even myself. I can invest in a few decks to kind of master, grind, etc. My plan, if I do that, is to kind of build off of Burn, like things like Jeskai, things like Mardu Pyromancer, and then try to connect decks around those. Get things like, since you're getting Mardu Pyromancer, Hollow One's not that far off. If you're playing those 2 decks, they share a lot of cards in common with Black Red Reanimator and Legacy. And then, maybe pick up another deck or 2 like Ad Nauseam, and Ad Nauseam pairs decently with Amulet Titan, which also pairs decently with all the other cards flow into Titan Shift. So that's another option. I basically have to make a decision. Am I going to be a casual streamer, or am I going to try to get semi-competitively serious over the next couple months? Because once school's done, I'm going to be either deciding to do this as kind of a more serious thing, or I'm going to be going into a career that is going to involve 50 to 60 hours a week and maybe stream like 2 or 3 times a week. So maybe I'm just being too serious right now, but I have another 9 months of school, and then once school's done, it's either try to do this Magic thing slightly more seriously or be an adult. Bourbon Fox, I'm already on Patreon, my man. There's a link in like every video. I already have a secondary channel just for Burn. I'm not talking specifically doing Burn. I'm not interested in just doing Burn on this channel. This channel is more of the wide variety kind of stuff. But I have to decide if I want to get more serious about playing tournament decks, or if I want to continue being... I have another 2 semesters of school, which is the fall semester, which starts here in a couple weeks, and then I have the spring semester, and then I'm done. I'm not here begging for money, Bourbon Fox. If you want to support, that's great. I appreciate the support. If you guys want me to continue doing Mana Traders, I'll continue doing Mana Traders. it's gonna be on hold for the next week because there's some stuff that come up that I had to contribute money to. One of my family's dogs is sick, and the refrigerator just took a dump. So between all that and some other stuff, I'm kind of tight on finances. So I had to put the money that would have been going towards my Mana Trader subscription, I had to get funneled into bills paying for the next couple weeks. So I'm not like completely abandoning Mana Traders. It's just this is the kind of thing that I'm going into. It's like, do I want to try to pursue Magic as kind of a semi-serious or even serious venture, or do I just want to continue being like... Do I just want to continue it being semi-serious, or do I want to try to become a grinder? So... Well, that's the thing with Mana Traders, Janshevik, is if I continue being the casual thing, then I don't have to buy the cards, but I'm just dropping X number of dollars a month. Whereas, if I get like 4 or 5 or 6 decks and kind of master those, then it's a sunk cost, but I generally, as long as I continue winning at a decent clip, I don't have to sink that much more money into Magic. That's why, like, I've been using Mana Traders for like a year. Like, so basically it's going to come down to, I'm going to have 2 nights a week where I'm going to school, a third night where I'm going to be doing F&M, and then I basically have 4 nights to break up between playing Magic, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of Battle for Azeroth on World of Warcraft when that comes out. Like maybe 1 or 2 nights a week of Battle for Azeroth, and the other couple of nights a week are going to be playing Magic. But you guys are my primary viewers outside of Foz and maybe... See, that's just... Yeah, that was my thought process, Space Marine, but I've built up an audience based on... That's why I wanted to get most of you guys on. So I'm not trying to say tonight's stream was a trap, but tonight's stream was a trap. I was trying to get as many of you guys on as possible. So, oh no, I'm not saying school's not important, Bourbon Fox. That's definitely going to be the biggest primary focus. I'm just saying with the spare energy I have left, should I continue being the casual streamer and hope to grow the channel and turn that into something down the line? Or just realize it's always going to be casual? Or do I try to go more serious, risk alienating certain people, and just try to... It's a trap! Yes, it's a trap! But, I mean, outside of, like, Foz, you guys are pretty much most of my more serious viewers. So I wanted to get some of you guys in here and get your opinion. But, like, my thought process, like, at the beginning of the year, I started a series where I was going to find, like, 5 modern decks to kind of, you know, kind of master, kind of learn, etc., and go from there. Then I started, you know, bouncing around. The deck that I always fall back to is Burn. Now, I'm 0-2 in this league, but let's be honest, variance happens. I probably should have won the Burn match on the mirror, the Burn mirror on the play, and I probably should have beaten Storm, but getting stuck on lands or not having enough lands. Yeah, this is kind of a critique and kind of a cut down on myself. I'm not the most entertaining person. I would say I'm more factual, but I'm not great enough to just be like, hey, I'm a Magic pro, watch me play videos, you know. I'm still, like, kind of in that no man's land, so... Casual in terms of, like, someone who just plays F&M, maybe, like, 1 or 2 big months a year. Yeah, kind of playing brews. See, there are very few players that do... Very few streamers in particular that play a lot of brews and still play a lot of serious competitive stuff. Because if you look at, like, Caleb Durward, Jeff Hoogland, Todd Stevens, and a lot of them, like, competitive play, in my opinion. Yeah, yeah. And then the flip side is like, what decks do I choose that are like... Oh no, I'm not setting the bar high in terms of like if I continue doing the casual stuff. I've just got to decide at this point if I want to continue playing casual brews all the time, or if I want to get serious. It's basically when it comes down to. And if something comes of it, something comes of it. Like, I have enough decent finishes in mid-level tournaments to know that I can push to a higher level. The question is do I want to do that for the next, like, 6 to 9 months? And then make a decision. Because, like, I got 18th in the challenge yesterday, basically on breakers, because there was a 8th place person was 5-2, got into the top 8. I have another modern challenge earlier this year on Duskblader that got a top 8 in a modern challenge. Made it to the finals of a PPTQ last year that was like 90 some players, but it's all burn. Like, that burn is the only deck in the last year or so that's proven to be competitive enough to push. In the past, I've played Ad Nauseam. In the past, I've also played Affinity to some success. But the Affinity success was an asterisk because it was during Eldrazi winter. And Eldrazi, one of the decks Eldrazi was weak to was Affinity. And it also very much warped the metagame. Alright, so I think I'm going to go with a semi-competitive route. That's just my opinion. A couple of you guys seem to think that that's my best thing. I'll try to play some, like, brews here and there. Like, I've liked some of Fozz's stuff. I've liked some of Space Marine stuff. Alright, so if that's the route we decide to go, I'm going to send a note to Fozz later, since he's one of the bigger supporters of the channel. Alright, so... these are the decks that are considered... yeah, that's what my other channel is for. Relic's too slow for what you want, Issa. Rest in Peace is so much... Rest in Peace is so much more final about what you want against the decks you want the Graveyard Hate against. It's too slow sometimes, which is dumb to say that a 2-mana Graveyard Hate is too slow, but it's too slow. Alright, so let's look at the Modern Challenge. I know for sure that I played Pumpkin Boys. I'm trying to see... I don't remember. I know I played a black-red or a red-black Vengevine list. I don't think it was Zach with Ack, though. I am not playing Merfolk. I can tell you that much. Merfolk is not a deck I consider competitive. So, see, Oblivion's End Gaming, burn, got there. Oh no, that is why I wanted to discuss particular decks. But, so... these are the decks that did whatever they did. But I have a particular budget in mind. I know how many decks I can get out of it. So, here are the top decks. Humans, Tron, Blue-White Control, Hollow One, Ironworks, Burn, Pyromancer, Jeskai, Bant Spirits, Vengevine, Storm, Grixis Death Shadow, Dredge, Affinity, Spirits, Jund. Infect, Scape Shift, Modular Affinity, Living In, Ad Nauseam, White Black Eldrazi, Blue Moon, Blue Red Wizards, Ponza, Abzan, Amulet Titan, Bant Nightfall, Hexproof Elves, Company, Bluetron, Red Green Eldrazi, and so on down the line. So if you're looking at the top, say the top 18 decks here. The problem with humans. Okay, so this is where this might come back to bite me a little bit. The problem with humans is a very good deck, but humans itself does not contribute to playing any other deck other than humans variants, because Aether Vial and Cavern of Souls only really merge with Merfolk and Spirits at this point, and theoretically Slivers, but Slivers isn't really a competitive deck. So Tron is another deck that a lot of its cards don't overlap with other decks. And Tron also suffers from the same issues as Burn. Tron plays a lot of the same style of games Burn does. One of the reasons Tron is as good as it is it generally, much like Burn, is one of the more consistent decks in the format. Blue-White Control, Space Marine, you better still be in here. Blue-White Control can feed into other decks. If you pick up Blue-White Control, you can pick up Jeskai. If you pick up Jeskai and Blue... Oh, thank goodness, Foz. I'm glad you're here. So, long story short, we were having a discussion. Yeah, I'm just working my way down the line. So I'm kind of making a decision here to be a little more serious with the decks I'm playing. But I wanted your input too, because you are one of the bigger viewers, supporters of the channel. So I can continue to play casual Magic and just let it be what it is, or try to get a little more serious over the next couple months and see if I can push getting better at certain decks and put up results and see where things go from there. So that was kind of the decision point I was getting to in the channel. Kind of the reason I'm streaming tonight was to get everybody's opinion. I'm glad you showed up to... Why should I avoid that? Because I'm horrible at Control, Space Marine? Is that where that comment's going? Somehow I knew that one was coming. Somehow I knew that joke was coming. I enjoy both aspects, but the reality... Okay, here's the full disclosure. So I want the channel to grow. The problem is I'm a competitive player who's not... If we were going for the... As a streamer, you can be serious or informative, or you can be entertaining. I'm more on the serious, informative side. However, I've been playing more casual decks and not really pushing forward my knowledge of any one particular deck, other than when I was playing Esper Control and Burn in Standard. Honestly, my long-term goal, what I would love to do, is turn streaming and Magic into a full-time thing. Reality or not? Probably not. That's why real life dictates that I finish school, go into the accounting field. I have a 9-month window to decide if I'm going to pursue Magic more seriously, or if it's always going to be like a casual, like F&M, one or two big events to your hobby. That's pretty much total disclosure where we're at right now. If I want to make it a more serious thing for the next several months, I have to pick 3 or 4 decks, get really good with them in Modern and Legacy, and then, you know, pick up some standard stuff here and there whenever I feel like I need to play standard for an event. So that's kind of where I was. I'm leaning towards the serious end, but I wanted all of your guys' input because you guys have been on this journey with me for the last several months. I don't want to alienate you guys because I want to make my own decisions. So I appreciate all your guys' support. I really wanted to get your guys' input before I went and made the decisions that this is where the channel's going. F you all, it's my life. I wanted to go, okay, you guys have been with me throughout the journey, so I wanted your guys' input, especially Foz, Space Marine, Janshavik, you know, the rest of you guys. I don't want to just be like, yeah, sorry guys, I'm going to stop playing most of your guys' decks. I'm going to be a little more serious here. So I was kind of going through and discussing the various decks because I want to try to link certain decks because I want to kind of give up on Mana Traders for right now. Well, I appreciate that, Adam. So the deck obviously I have right now, I have Burn in Modern, Burn in Legacy. So how many decks do we realistically want to play on the channel to kind of keep everybody happy? I was kind of explaining my thought process of like taking a look at the top 18 decks and seeing like what decks link the best. Just remember, you won't be the only Burn player. Yeah, I know, but I don't want to do Burn 24/7, 365. Even I get sick of Burn sometimes. The only time I like Burn is when I'm winning with Burn. And sometimes Burn's done when it's done tonight and just decided that I don't need to win tonight, so 3 to 5 decks total or 3 to 5 decks for Modern? Because what I was thinking about was picking up like another Legacy deck, maybe 2, and tying it in with the Modern decks. Foz, when he brought it up, my thought process was if you want something like that, you might want to go with Dire Fleet Daredevil anyway. But I didn't think it was efficient enough, but he was thinking like things like Fire Blast might be strong enough of a spell to copy. Space Marine, I care about Legacy to a certain extent. Infect might. The problem with Infect is it's not really a good deck right now. And I don't tend to do well with... So my best decks tend to be regular aggro and combo. And Infect kind of falls into a weird subcategory that sometimes I'm really good with and other times I'm awful with. But it would also be one of the easier... Infect would also be one of the easier decks to build into... Oh yeah, the main focus is going to be Modern. So my plan for right now is to get the Modern and the Legacy decks on here. Work on building up my Arena collection, that way I can do Standard when I need to test a little bit on Arena. Because I plan on picking up... Yeah, that's the thing, guys, is I'm like trying... Okay, maybe I should... Now that we've all kind of agreed that we're going on the serious deck kick. So, here's the thought process. Humans, great deck, doesn't really connect with many of the other top decks in the format. Same with Tron. Tron also has the same problem as Burn. A lot of repetitive gameplay. You're trying to assemble Tron. They are, Adam, but they're at the same time they're not. Like, okay, for instance, if you want to connect decks on a certain level, like they share certain cards. Burn shares a lot of the same cards as Jeskai Control. Lightning Bolt, Lightning Helix, Path to Exile. The Burn deck also shares a lot in common with the Blue-Red Fey deck. I could Janshavik. I have my own personal opinion about where I want to go with decks, but that's why I'm kind of just pointing out the patterns. Like Black Red Hollow 1 and Mardu Pyromancer share a lot of the same cards. They share Lightning Bolt. They share a lot of the same mana base. They share sideboard discard spells. While the core of the deck is different, a lot of what they do, as far as the mana base, is the same. Yeah, I know. Believe me, I smoked it round 1 with Burn in the challenge yesterday. So anyways, my comment being is like Blackwood Hollow 1 and Mardu Pyromancer. So if I were to pick 3 decks just out of the top X things, my inclination would be Burn, Pyromancer, and 1 Unknown. So somebody did an article a while back about mastering 3 decks in Modern. Mastering a linear aggro deck, a linear combo deck, and a mid-range control deck. So if we go by that theory, then Burn and Pyromancer are probably my 2 best bets, with a third deck kind of being up in the air. So we could go another mid-range control deck like Blue-White Control, Jeskai, or we could go combo like Storm, Ad Nauseam, or KCI. Please don't make me choose KCI. That deck even I have problems wrapping my head around sometimes. Could go Infect. No, I am not running Lantern Control. Besides, Lantern is way too expensive for the project in question. So, can we all agree that Burn and Pyromancer are 2 of the top 3 decks? Is that like a safe thing everybody can kind of get around? Alright. And since Space Marine says I suck at control decks, Voz, Janshavik, what are your opinion? Well, Pyromancer is the stop fapping. Interesting way to describe it. My main consideration for the third deck in the triumvirate was the blue-red variants. I've had a lot of fun in the past playing Twinless Twin, Blue Moon, and Breach Emrakul, which are more combo control than true control. So I tend to have better results with those decks than I do like Jeskai and Blue-White. So that was like my consideration for like the third deck. And some of the cards from Burn translate over, and some of the cards from Mardu Pyromancer transfer over. Like, you know, Young Pyromancers in some builds, Blood Moon, Lightning Bolt. So the decks kind of tie in together, and they're sort of control-ish. So Space Marine kind of gets his control fixed when he stops in. And then eventually we could move on to Jeskai or Blue-White, even though he claims I suck at them, which I probably do. And that gives us like 3 or 4 different variants with just changing out a few, basically changing out the win cons and some like I honestly think the problem with Grixis Janshavik is the mana base is like I could continue building on the Grixis twin list or the Bolos lists maybe, but I think I would stick to blue red for now and then maybe build into Grixis. Yes, but Fox, I'm not the greatest with your list. I go 3-2 or 2-3 with that Delver list all the time. Even before I got your list, like when I played Delver a couple times before, I'd always go 2-3 or 3-2. I never have great success with those decks. Alright, so if those are... Play more green decks, please. Oh no, I'm not saying... It's not. We're not even talking about the relative playability of the deck. We're talking about my ability to leverage the skills those decks need. Alright, so... Burn, Pyromancer, Blue-Red X control decks. Those are the 3 on the table. So, green deck. Alright. So, if we're going to go green... No, I actually haven't. Oh, I'm definitely going to practice Foz. Alright, let's be nice, Space Marine. Alright, so let's look at the realistic green decks. Tron, Infect, Scapeshift, Amulet Titan, or could play Hexproof. I'm kidding about Hexproof, guys. Elves, or you've got Green-White Counters Company. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how to get that to be basically not mono green land destruction. That's pretty much what it boils down to. So there are several viable green decks. Yeah, Ponza is green, sort of. But, but Ponza, once again, kind of falls into that, Ponza kind of falls into that, Phonetic Dusk with Infect possibility. Could do Fog Walkers. Yeah. So the realistic green decks... That's the problem, is I need to expand my horizons. Because Burn's the only deck that I'm truly good at. And even that I fumble with sometimes. So... Alright. Burn, Pyromancer, Blue-Red X Control, and some debate between Amulet Titan, Infect, Scapeshift, or Ponza, pretty much. What was that laugh for, Space Marine? Because I'm only good with Burn. Thanks for the subscription, Adam. So the deck I'm tempted to play is Amulet Titan, even though the deck's not great. like, it's a combo deck that's also a mid-range deck, which, like, Blue Moon can be as well. There's more decisions to burn than you want to give it credit for sometimes. Like, what hands to keep primarily are the biggest. You just shoot lightning in people. Oh, you're almost as bad as Shock Troopa yesterday. Oh my lord. That... It is, but... I don't know that it's a better version of Amulet Titan. I think it's a more consistent version. But we're also trying to get to the point where not every deck I play is point and click. Alright. People in chat, let's do a quick poll of everybody that's in chat. Amulet Titan or Titan Shift? What would you rather see? Probably gonna regret this decision. Keep hands with more lightning. Yes, there's a difference, Space Marine. One involves a lot of... Amulet. Regret this decision. Yes, Space Marine, there's a difference. Amulet involves thinking. Titan Shift does not. Titan Shift, so 2/2. They're fine, but they have one of the cardinal rules of Modern you don't want to do, which is you lose to... If your opponents want to beat you, they can beat you. Alright, Space Marine, kinda comes down to you. Yeah, I know Titan would be better, but it would also lead to more boring content. And a couple of you have mentioned you don't want everything to be boring, straight thinking. Amulet Titan or... I vote 8 rack. Oh, Space Marine, I hate you sometimes. Alright, since Space Marine abstained from voting, I guess it's Amulet Titan. Boy can't think past 2. No, Foz, we know he can at least count to 5 because he likes to cast Teferi. We know he can at least count to 5. Actually, no. He has to count to 8 to Ultimate Teferi. Beyond that, we make no guarantees of how high he can count. I'm waiting for the Space Marine to come back. This should be pretty good. He uses dice. Wow. That explains... I stop it too. That explains why he knows plays no win con conditions, Foz. That way his opponent just has to give up in pure frustration since he can't actually keep life totals straight. Middle finger, middle finger. I didn't even know they made an emojis on here for that, Space Marine. Leave it to you to find them. Oh dear. Alright, so Legacy, my first inclination outside of Burn is Black-Red Reanimator. It's a simple combo deck. Well, sort of simple. It's powerful, proactive, kind of what you want to be doing in Legacy. That's kind of not negotiable. It's kind of the deck I'm going to pick up for Legacy outside of Burn. So, probably pick up one more deck in time. So, a lot of these decks are just so blessedly expensive. So the decks we'll have in Modern are Burn, Pyromancer, Blue-Red Control, and Amulet Titan. So, Volcano. Yeah, he can definitely be a Volcano sometimes. Nice fit. See if there's any Veteran Explorer. See if there's any Veteran Explorer decks. I can jam a lot of EDH and No, Space Marine, you're like my brother's friend Kyle. You just like to make people suffer. You don't like quick endings. You just... No, I don't... What is his... Can you link a copy of his burn list, Adam? I don't know what's special about it. I honestly haven't looked it up. Yes, my brother and I have a mutual friend named Kyle. And he can be quite the Space Marine-like individual when he wants to be. Alright, Asa, thanks for your input too, man. It's nice to catch you hanging out. What in the blazes is this? The heck? This is some straight up next level bullshit. Wow. The two decks are already Burn and Black-Red Reanimator. I'm just trying to think of a third deck that's kind of off the beaten path. Because let's be honest, I don't want to spend $700. This is Bitter Bowler. This is a very interesting take on Nick Fit. This is insane. This deck is insane. I don't know if it's good, but this deck is insane. This is some straight up next level weird bullshit. This is the kind of deck you want to play. It's probably not even good. It's just brokenly stupid if it does what it's supposed to. Well, Curse of Death's Hold, Dovescape, Cruel... Get Dovescape against a combo deck. GG, guys. Is not fit. Space Marine, have you even played a game of Legacy in your life? I got the email, Adam. I'm taking a look at it now. Oh, the Shrine list. I honestly can't say I've played Shrine of Burning Rage. My only consideration with this list would be I don't like the thought of giving up Eidolon. So I'd have to think really, really hard about what card I'd want to cut to get Eidolon back in the deck. We can certainly give it a go. I mean, Shrine's not that expensive to pick up. And I have, obviously, the rest of these cards. Yeah, we can play that one of these times, Adam. Is this final Nick Fit list? Oh, this is more of a, I was going to say, this is more of an Allurin list than a Nick Fit list. So I'm playing Burn, I'm playing Reanimator. I'm almost obligated to choose a blue deck, but blue decks are so expensive. Blue-green Eldrazi Post? Question mark? Sort of a blue deck. More of a green deck. Alright, Bourbon Fox. Thanks for hanging out, man. Yeah, I'm very well aware. Also, the blue lands are kind of expensive, too, on Magic Online. In comparison. Well, I guess Trop isn't. So... Foz, you're more of a Legacy expert. What would be a good third deck to pair against those two that's not like Grixis Control or Miracles? Should I be looking at like a 4-color Loam deck? So like I have the burn deck, I have the combo deck, so I kind of need the mid-range-ish deck for Legacy. I mean, Merfolk's definitely on the table, but man, some of that crap in that deck's even expensive. Elves, maybe? Problem is, most of the Stompy lists outside of Merfolk and Elves just aren't good. And most of them are pretty expensive because of Chalice and such. That's true, Jankovic. Dragon Stompy? I mean, there's the mono red prison deck, but that just feels eh? What, like Maverick and such? Enchantress. Yeah, Enchantress makes sense as the third deck. It's... And I'm not even talking from the cheap standpoint, I'm just talking in terms of... It's a complicated deck that kind of requires a lot of thinking. At least till you get to know it. So yeah, I think Enchantress makes the most sense. I'm definitely going to have to look up how to play it, though. And a lot of the cards overlap with what we're trying to do anyway. Like the expensive cards, like the land base, the Ley Lines of the Void, which we're already going to want to pick up for Mardu Pyromancer in Modern. So a lot of the expensive cards are already kind of covered by other stuff. So... yeah, probably go with Enchantress as the third deck. So kind of the recap: Burn, Black Red Reanimator, Enchantress and Legacy, and then in Modern, Burn, Pyromancer, Blue Red, X-Dex, and Amulet Titan. I certainly will, Jankovic. Can you send me a reminder in email to look who to look up? I mean, I can try to remember to look back in the chat here, but let's just write it down. Save me some trouble. Diedrich. Monsieur. So is everyone kind of happy with these deck selections? It'll give us a wide variety. And I'm not ruling out Standard. Standard's just probably going to end up being on Arena. That way I don't have to worry about picking up cards for that unless I end up having to play like a PTQ online or something in Standard. That way we have a variety of... I actually happen to like Andrea. He makes things interesting, and he plays enough variety of decks that even decks that are truly awful, he makes sound interesting. Space Marine, are you still here? Sometimes he goes quiet and you're never quite sure if he's here or not. Probably not. We started talking about Legacy, so he probably peaced out. Alright, so I need to write these down, make sure Nassif is the best. Yeah, Nassif's pretty good. Space Marine popping back in. Made me sold on Pile Smasher. Alright, so Modern, Burn, Blue-Red Control, and its variants. Even eventually some Grixis lists. Amulet, which that's going to be quite a bit of thinking on those days. And Mardu. And then Legacy is Burn, Black Red, Reanimator, and Enchantress. And then there's going to be a little bit of World of Warcraft in here just because of the new expansion. And then and then a little bit of Arena when I get the new computer. Alright, so the only thing I'm going to bring up, so Blue-Red Control is probably cemented in that slot. The only other thing that I would consider playing in that slot was there was an Esper Gifts list a couple years back that Hoogland played that I really liked. You guys are horrible. Oh, that was like an Esper mid-range list that had Gifts Ungiven package and things like Jace, Vryn's Prodigy, and Obsidat was the only other list that I kind of liked. So between that and Blue-Red X variants, which would you guys rather see? I'm probably honestly better at the Blue-Red X variants. How does this deck win outside of milling your opponent? Yeah. Alright. Well, yes, I mean in burial rites. Alright guys, I gotta wrap this up. Time for dinner, so thanks for your guys' input. I will catch you all later. Infinite turns, too. We'll see about that. Alright. Catch you guys all later. Thanks for your input.